This is Murder in the Morning with Tony Bruschi and Stacey Cole.
Well, Sean Diddy Combs, he's losing part of his legal defense team as he continues to face federal charges, including racketeering, conspiracy, and sex trafficking. Anthony Ricco, one of the attorneys representing the embattled hip-hop mogul, has officially withdrawn from the case, citing an inability to continue serving as counsel. I find it interesting the verbiage that he uses, Stacey, in his resignation, if you will.
It's very specific.
It really kind of screams like, okay, well, I'm glad you communicated that with us, because it seems rather interesting. He made it clear in his departure, saying, quote, "Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs."
Most people, I think, in some sort of a resignation or termination of services would just say, I'm no longer part of the team, and walk away.
Yeah.
This was very deliberate. And again, I've said this before, and I know this because somebody in my inner circle is an attorney. They use very specific words to convey a very specific meaning. They don't just throw words about that don't mean something. So for him to have chosen those exact words, he is distancing himself so far from this that he might as well buy a plane ticket.
Under no circumstances can I continue to effectively serve as counsel for Sean Combs. He added that his decision was made after discussions with lead attorney Marc Agnifilo. However, Ricco declined to provide specific details supporting his withdrawal. Despite stepping away, Ricco assured the court that his departure would not affect the scheduled trial, which remains set for May 5th. It's never going to happen.
No, God, might as well just go on vacation. It ain't happening.
Combs, who remains in custody at the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn, New York, is, of course, arrested back in September on serious federal charges. The allegations against him include racketeering, conspiracy, sex trafficking, and transportation to engage in prostitution. He has pled not guilty and has denied all accusations. His remaining legal team, led by Agnifilo and Tenny Garagos, has been vocal in his defense, calling the charges against Combs baseless. As Mr. Combs' legal team has emphasized, he cannot address every meritless allegation in what has become a reckless media circus, his attorneys have previously stated. They further emphasize that their client empathetically and categorically denies, or empathic, what did I did say empathetically? No, what it is, emphatically. That's the word I'm looking for. Emphatically. Yes. And categorically denies as false and defamatory any claim that he sexually abused anyone, including minors. His defense team has vowed to prove his innocence in court. Beyond Ricco's withdrawal, Combs' legal battle has taken another controversial turn, with his lawyers accusing prosecutors of racial bias. We talked about this one the other day. His attorneys have filed a motion challenging the use of the Mann Act, a federal law. I believe Fiddy also trolled him on this. A federal law originally enacted in 1910 that prohibits transporting individuals across state lines for illegal sexual activities. His legal team argues that this law has historically been used to target black men, while similar actions by white individuals go unpunished. Okay, if we go way back in time, sure. That's not what we're talking about right now, Diddy. And at the end of the day, it's about trafficking, and that's what you were doing. Was it abused in the past? Sure. No one's saying that's a good thing or anything, but you got to deal with what's in today. You can't be talking about what happened many, 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 many years ago, unless, of course, it's you in a nightclub shooting someone. No white person has ever been the target of a remotely similar prosecution, because no one's done this shit before. White, black, Asian, Hispanic. You Take the cake. Bad boy for life. God damn it, you did it. And you were a bad boy for life. And now you're going to go away for life, probably. Combs' attorneys claimed in a court filing. They further stated that the law has been wielded in a discriminatory manner, citing past cases against prominent black figures like boxer Jack Johnson and rock and roll legend Chuck Berry. Combs has been singled out because he's a powerful black man and he is being prosecuted for conduct that regularly goes unpunished, the filing sorts. Well, I don't know what the story is with Jack Johnson or Chuck Berry. So I'm really not going to comment if it was used inappropriately. As more alleged victims have come forward in civil cases, Combs continues to fight mounting legal battles, his once iconic status in the music industry. Stacey, would you look that up for me while I continue to read this?
Yeah, about Chuck Berry.
Yeah, and what historically happened there. His once iconic status in the music industry has been overshadowed by a wave of accusations and lawsuits. For now, the trial is moving forward as scheduled, but with one less attorney on Combs' defense team. Whether his remaining lawyers can successfully challenge the charges or prove bias in the prosecution remains to be seen.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. Why'd you make me look that up?
So what'd you find when you did a little deep dive, as they like to say now, when you look into something about Chuck Berry and Jack Johnson?
I have to shower after this. Yeah. On December 23rd, 1959, Chuck Berry is indicted in St. Louis, Missouri on charges relating to his transportation of a 14-year-old girl across state lines for allegedly immoral purposes.
Then that's not using it incorrectly. It has nothing to do with race. It has everything to do with transporting a 14-year-old across state lines for sex purposes.
Ugh.
There we go. Just because you're black doesn't mean that every law that exists is targeting you. Now, can I say in the past, those are really bad examples, by the way, if at least one of them is. I don't know what the other one leads to. But yes, if we go historically, we can find laws that were set up to hold back black people. Without a fucking doubt do they exist. Yes, of course. Nobody's denying that. But we're not talking about that. We're talking about you pimping women out and basically having them trafficked to you for your drugged baby oil orgies, allegedly. That's what we're talking about. Nobody fucking cares what color you are. We don't. We don't.
We just want to know what the hell you're doing with
what the fuck did you do? Why were you doing this? Yeah. It doesn't matter. Race is nothing.
So many people in your midst saying all of a sudden they blacked out and felt like they'd been drugged.
Yeah.
There's something there. You know, unless you're a really bad cook and people go comatose after eating your food, something's going on there. What is it? Why does it keep happening?
It's not a racial thing. And I think everyone knows that. I don't think there's many people that are buying into this racial bullshit, because it's not. I think by and large, we're not a racist people. I mean, do you have your horrible, shitty people out there? Yeah, you do. But by and large, most of us were never brought up to be that way. Most of us have lived lives happily amongst everybody, and it has never been an issue for most of us. It's just, I feel like are we really arguing that this is a racially motivated charge when you're trafficking people across line? But the other week it was they're his girlfriends. Now it's racist. So it's like whatever we can say aloud and see what makes sticks. Did you find out about the other one?
No, I didn't look up the other one. Who's the other dude?
The other dude,
I think it's actually hang on.
Boxer Jack Johnson, not singer Jack Johnson of the early 2000s. Was there a Jack Johnson singer? I think there was. Wasn't there?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Banana pancakes, baby.
Banana pancakes.
Oh, you need to look up that song if you don't know it.
Is it a song where he makes banana pancakes for his lover after he whisks her into a night of pleasure?
Well, sort of. I mean, it's a cutesy, lovely Yeah.
After I got your signature and your non-disclosure that we can make love, we made love, and you can't accuse me of anything else, and I'm making you banana pancakes. Does it go like that?
It's a great song. Okay, so here it is. Jack Johnson, the what was he? A boxer?
Boxer.
Boxer. U.S. Department of Justice began investigating Jack Johnson, the boxer, for possible violations of the Mann Act almost from the moment the law went into effect in 1910. But prosecutors did not find an incident from which to build a case for over 2 years. Oh, this is a very long story. Let me see if I can find the crux of the story.
ChatGPT.
Yeah, I went into History Channel.
Yeah, you got to stop doing that.
I gotta,
You got to stop using the internet like it's 1998, Stacy.
yeah, thanks a lot. You know what? This old dog has a hard time moving ahead. Let's see. All right. Jack Johnson, not the banana pancake guy.
I can keep singing Jack Johnson.
It's a great. You should look it up. You really should.
Well, right now I'm just gonna riff on Jack. I'm Jack Johnson. I met you at the park when I came back home for a Hallmark movie type situation. And then you just broke up with somebody, and now I'm here
He
for you.
did receive a pardon for it back in 2018.
Okay, well, what happened?
That's what I'm trying to get. ChatGPT is not telling me. Okay, so they're talking about how illegally transport women across state lines, but it doesn't say exactly what he did.
Let me use the internets.
He was convicted under the Mann Act in what many historians see as a racially motivated case. He fled the country, but later returned and served time in prison.
Okay. So this one may be a legitimate story. He was the first black heavyweight boxing champion, was convicted in 1930 under the Mann Act, which made it illegal to transport women across state lines for immoral purposes. However, his conviction was widely considered racially motivated. Johnson had relationships with white women at a time when interracial relationships were heavily stigmatized in the U.S., and authorities sought ways. Okay, so they went after him because he was taking the white ladies. And the whiteys didn't like that.
Yeah, they didn't like that back then.
Can't do that.
Nope.
So they used it against him. He fled the country before. Okay, in 2018, Donald Trump posthumously pardoned Jack Johnson, acknowledging that his conviction. Okay, so that's one that is a good example of it being racially motivated. But you know what? That's not what's happening here.
Right.
Not the same thing, Diddler.
Well, and I said this the last time we talked about this specific part. Even let's just say that that's true, that Diddy's right. It doesn't get rid of everything else that he's accused of.
No.
Holy cats.
No. Look, when you got there's such a high bar to a federal investigation. The way that when you have a federal indictment against you, it basically means they've cornered you in. This is not like it's going to be a case that's being tried in Delphi, Indiana or some bullshit like that. They're done. They pretty much have everything. If they keep adding shit, it's because it's like, this is going to destroy you too. They're not going to add anything that may not destroy you. They're not going to add anything that like, it's questionable at best. Or even if it's questionable, or even if it's like, it's pretty strong on this, they're still not going to do it until they know it is foolproof. So, just saying. I'm saying probably a good chunk of these civil suits are going to go nowhere. But the federal suit, and that's what really matters here at the end of the day, is going to do what it's going to do. And once they seize all of his assets and shit, that'll be sitting somewhere. I mean, the government could just take it in, which they'll probably end up doing, a civil forfeiture. But one would hope that some of that would be in existence in some sort of fund to pay the victims of the civil cases. But I think at the end of the day, honestly, in the civil cases, by the time all that shit gets through court, which usually takes years on civil cases, there's not going to be a whole lot to recover, quite honestly. I just don't see it. I think the government's going to take their check and their shares in advance, and I don't know that they're interested in sharing after the fact.
I think you're right.
So that's where we're going. So there you go. That's the latest on Diddy and all of the horribleness that goes along with Diddy.
The latest true crime stories, expert breakdowns, and shocking twists, all in one place. Press subscribe now to the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.